One of the conversations that happened today, and it occurred both on the dais and also when I was talking to some of the attendees afterwards, comes down to how DC is addressing landlord-tenant relationships, specifically as it pertains to the non-payment of rent. I deal with landlord-tenant matters as they relate to transactions and tenant rights within a transaction, specific to DC. On a day-to-day basis, I don't deal with landlord-tenant matters, but I do know they are, inevitably tied into almost every multi-unit residential transaction that we deal with in the District of Columbia. And one of the biggest issues, and we're seeing this especially right now dealing with a lot of distressed property and non-performing assets, we're seeing a lot of these transactions driving the market, is just that tenants aren't paying rent. And there's a question as to why that is happening. Some different perspectives were brought today in our conversation, but what it comes down to is the way the DC court system and also the way the law is formulated. There really is no incentive for tenants to pay rent because there's no recourse or repercussion for not doing so. I'm dealing with a property right now where I'm not dealing on the landlord-tenant side. I'm trying to deal with the transaction, the outsale of this property. There's a tenant in the property that hasn't paid for 6 years and won't leave. I think that's wild. And the owner is acting in good faith and has over the course of time, provided every off-ramp, opportunity, vacate payment, just debt relief, anything under the sun to make it work, and is trying to address this one tenant who's holding up an entire deal. Most people from around the country would think that's wild, and and it is wild. So there needs to be a shift in how that's addressed, and whether that's in the courts, whether that's legislatively, it does need to be addressed. And I think that was a constant theme today, both amongst the panel, but then also when talking with a lot of the professionals here. I can't solve the world's problems when it comes to landlord-tenant rights in DC. I just have to play the ball as it lies.